All right, everyone. The other day, Donald Trump had a call with Vladimir Putin. Now, diplomacy is normally a good thing to engage in, but liberals, which used to be anti-war and used to be in favor of more diplomacy, less warmongering, so like nation building and stuff like that, invading third world countries, for some reason, because Orange Man bad, they've decided they're now the pro-war party, actually, which is regrettable. I remember voting for Obama back in 2008, and part of it was because he talked a big game about trying to end the crises that were in Iraq and Afghanistan. Then, of course, there was the troop surge in the latter, and closing Gitmo and things like this. And I thought, okay, we can save lives and save a lot of money at the same time. So we're killing less civilians overseas. We're losing less troops. We're saving billions of dollars. What the hell could go wrong? Unfortunately, that never actually panned out. The only president in modern times since the Carter administration that has actually tried to limit overseas warmongering and nation building and stuff like that is the Trump administration. Of course, there were no new wars within the Trump administration in its first incarnation. You'll remember the envoy in Syria literally was lying to the administration, and I don't think we ever got any closure on this, simply to tell him that there were fewer troops in Syria than there actually were. This is the uniparty in action. Diplomacy has broken out. Donald Trump is talking to Vladimir Putin. Liberals are currently outraged. Oh my God, how can you negotiate with him? Don't you know Vladimir Putin is the devil? Anytime that the US government tells you that a foreign nation is the devil, it literally, I mean, in some cases, they're using that terminology. It's propaganda. They've done this since time immemorial, effectively. This particular adversary or, reasonably hostile nation is beyond redemption. It's run by evil people. It's literally evil. And it's almost never true. It's usually just a bunch of propaganda bullshit. Donald Trump, I think, realizes this. And he realizes another fact. Ukraine is not going to recover all of its lost territory. There's no possibility physically of them doing so. It doesn't matter how much money we funnel to them. It doesn't matter how many weapons we give them. It's impossible. Ukraine is not capable of standing against Russia. Since it's not in NATO, and it's not covered by the NATO umbrella, so to speak, it's not possible for Ukraine to recover all of its lost territory. In the end, there will be a negotiated peace deal. My assumption is that this will take the following form. Ukraine recognizes the control of Russia over Crimea, so it no longer claims it as part of its territoriality. It probably cedes Donbass. The Russians then withdraw from the rest of the territory. Ukraine is eventually admitted to NATO, and the hope is that finally the borders of Europe have been shored up and there's no further incursion. I like it when people say, well, what if the Russians invade Poland? What if the Russians invade Estonia? Yeah, that would be a real great idea considering that NATO exists. This is why I'm pro-NATO. I'm actually in favor of the Western alliance. That being said, you have to be pragmatic when you're negotiating with regards to this sort of situation. And this situation, it wasn't started by Trump. Crimea was invaded under Obama, and Russia took it. And Obama said, don't you dare. And the Russians said, fuck you. And Crimea was taken over. Under Joe Biden's administration, parts of, eastern Ukraine were invaded. And Biden said, "Oh, come on, man, I'm going to send Corn Pop after you." And Putin said basically, fuck you, because he had the manpower necessary to actually overrun these regions. In the end, Russia will not maintain all four territories that it has generally conquered at this point. But it will maintain Crimea. It will probably maintain Donbass and possibly another territory or so. Donald Trump will attempt to talk to Putin, negotiate some sort of peace deal in which Ukraine has ceded territory, maintains some of the territory that is effectively controlled by Russia, and then enters NATO. That's probably what's going to happen. This is the best case scenario. And Donald Trump is capable of actually talking to foreign leaders. See, here's again the problem that I've referred to repeatedly. Joe Biden doesn't understand jack shit about politics outside of North America and Western Europe. He just doesn't understand it. He doesn't understand Eastern European politics. He doesn't understand Asian politics. He doesn't understand South American politics. He just doesn't get it. He's never been to these places or done business in them. Donald Trump, meanwhile, has like golf courses in 10 different countries. He understands. He's been to these places and done business with them. He knows how the boardroom works in Poland as opposed to New York City or Japan or something like that. The way in which politics work is vastly different across different parts of the world. There was, I believe, a New York Times article some time ago, and it was talking about like the negotiating strategies in corporate boardrooms in different countries. In some places, it's very hierarchical. In some places, it's very circular. So, there's a circular of discussion that's going on. It's more of an oligarchy. In some places, it's very democratic. And so you have these different types of strategies. They bleed over into politics because corporations, of course, and politics are kind of twain. And Trump understands this because he's got, a golf course in China and an office building in Japan and a couple of condos in Poland and stuff like that. Joe Biden, meanwhile, never understood this. He offered insult to the Polish, one of our closest allies, by the way, one of the countries that is most positive towards the United States. He insulted them. He insulted the Hungarians. He insulted the Japanese. He insulted the Argentinians. And I was like, diplomatically speaking, what the hell are you even doing? Donald Trump doesn't do this. In the end, I think that he'll be successful at negotiating some sort of peace deal. The problem mainly is going to be with Zelensky more than anything else. Putin, quite clearly, he doesn't want to grind his manpower down simply taking a couple of provinces in eastern Ukraine. It makes no sense. I think more than anything, it's basically Donbass and Crimea. If the United States is capable of overseeing a peace accord, and then admitting them to NATO, of course, to prevent any further Russian incursions, that's the best possible outcome that you can hope for. That's about all. Peace out.